It's 7:40. Let's do this. Good evening, Hampton Roads. Good evening, Northeast North Carolina. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television, and you are watching First Warning Live, where we focus on all things weather. And because we get hungry from time to time, we like to eat Marco's Pizza. Some of us anyway. And I can tell you we're going to be giving away free pizza tomorrow, so I hope you'll stay tuned for that. Meanwhile, we are talking about a storm that's going to include rain, snow, and ice this weekend. Let me repeat. This is a snowstorm that includes some ice, includes some rain. In fact, after every passing hour, the snow element keeps getting smaller and smaller. That's the trend. Now, for those of you that like to see snow totals, I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to you in spades this live stream. But I can tell you, when tracking any winter storm, I belabored this the last couple of days. It's all about the 3 T's. We're getting more in focus now. I'm talking about the 3 T's, namely temperature. We're also talking about track and timing. And the timing is pretty much locked in. This is a PM Saturday and into Sunday time event. So the timing is pretty much locked in, and the temperature is becoming more in focus because it's going to start cold. It's likely to start as a wet snow event, but then quickly warming up and changing into sleet, freezing rain. Maybe then just plain rain. At the rate we're going, because 2 days from now it could be just a rain event. Say nothing to see here. Are you serious? I'm serious. I've been doing this for a long time, so hang with me. Let me just reiterate what I'm talking about. Now, if you're not familiar with the snow forecasting timeline, you asked for it, here it is. 6 days ago, back on Dr. King Day, people were like, oh, I heard we're getting 18 inches, 19 inches of snow. It's possible, but this weatherman won't commit. No, because I know. I've been doing this a long time. Let me come back on camera. I've been doing this for 27 years, almost 3 decades. I've never, ever seen the perfect snowstorm 6 days in advance. That's like rolling snake eyes 6 days in a row. Have you ever rolled dice? Imagine that. That would be how it would have to play out. It doesn't stay that way, so the timeline changes. So now what we're looking at is, well, 4 to 5 days, it's becoming more likely. Oh, but now, what are we now? Today is Wednesday night. So Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. We're 3.5 days out. Now's the time to maybe start planning. But if you thought we were getting 1.5 feet of snow, I hate to break it for you. Hate to break it to you. I said yesterday, I was going, I'll be that guy. I'll be that guy. In fact, some of the comments that I got last night, somebody was asking me, Candace was very candid, said, so are we getting snow or no? The answer is maybe a little bit before it changes over. And then you're left with a whole lot of mess, which may be the bigger problem, which leads me to say, we're not out of the woods. We might be getting into the deeper woods if we get more ice in some of our neighborhoods. Oh, and then I got another note. Who was this? Let's see. George Stewart. He noted last night, he says, let's face it, we don't know. Well, we're getting closer. We're getting closer to knowing, George, so hang in there. And I love this note. This came by way of Pat. Pat said, or no, Doug. Doug says, you're annoying. That's okay. I find you refreshing. Now think about this, Doug. Last time you were at a Norfolk Tides baseball game, how was the umpire treated? Like royalty? No. People boo at the umpire. Who's at the Norfolk Tides minor league baseball team here in town at Harbor Park? They say, you called out a strike? You know, he said, that wasn't even in the strike zone. So people will get upset if you're on Team Snow and they want to take it out on the messenger. I'm here to tell you, we're not getting 17 inches of snow or 18 or 16. Barely, like maybe an inch. And I think by tomorrow it might be nothing. It might be nothing. That's the trend. I'm going to show you. But when you're really within 1 to 2 days out, then you can kind of lock in, you can hone in and say, okay, this is what I should suspect and expect. But if you started canceling your birthday party 6 days out on Dr. King Day for something that happens on Sunday, that's on you. Because our forecasting timeline, pretty well stated. I mean, you just can't do it, and people will get excited. They'll get all their emotions high. Anxiety runs high for people who hate snow, people who love snow, and it's click, click, click. It's clickbait. It's a dopamine kick. But I digress. If we look at the snow and rain and ice this weekend, this is what's around 1 o'clock Saturday. Not a whole lot going on, although it's curious to see that there's some precipitation along the Outer Banks that are hugging the coast at least Saturday afternoon. That's not the main event. The main event's going to come in from the west, and you can clearly see that beginning to spill in after nightfall on Saturday. This represents 8 o'clock Saturday night. Notice the mix, M-I-X, mix, here in pink. Now, we're getting maybe some snow at the beginning, But is it enough to stick? How many hours will it be in your neighborhood? Maybe you're in North Carolina. Maybe you're in the Outer Banks. Maybe you're along the Eastern Shore. That's 8 o'clock. Let's move forward to 10 o'clock. It looks like the snow's picking up. Maybe it's actually showing signs of sticking on the grassy surfaces at 10 o'clock on Saturday. Again, this is just one solution. I'm going to show you multiples, so hang with me. But watch what happens when we go at 11 o'clock. It's already changing over at Virginia Beach. What you got, a couple of hours of wet snow, and now it's washing down the drain. Why do I know that? Because it's a heavy precipitation maker. You're getting a lot of mix in pink that's now overcome much of the eastern shore and the peninsulas based on this model. And this would represent 3 o'clock Sunday morning. A lot of rain, though, for our friends in the Outer Banks at that particular time and hour. But once we move into 6 a.m. Sunday, is it going to change back to snow? Probably not. In fact, it's only going to double down on the mix in pink in places like Emporia, Franklin, Williamsburg. And once we carry into 10:30 Sunday, now the rain is washing it all down the drain. So let's just say you got 1 inch of snow. Where is it now? Down the drain. How am I going to sled on 1 inch of snow that's been washed down the drain? You're not. You're not. It's going to become a mess. So for those of you that were really hung up on the snow type on Monday, Dr. King Day, now you're beginning to realize you're in my hemisphere, right? This is the weather. Listen to the people who are not just posting. You got to ask them, is that person that's posting, do they give you the daily forecast? I mean, did you know that tomorrow's going to be warmer? Tomorrow's the warmest day of the week. Who else is telling you that? If it's somebody that just sits back in their basement, post, then you end up being subjected to, hey, we're getting this, and people buy it. Just whatever that pulls them every which way, and they get panicked. And then they tune in. I had over 20,000 views on this Facebook page of mine from last night's live stream. Not because I'm the most popular guy, but because people were trying to separate the noise from the hype and the hype from the reality. And I think this reality is what's going to be overhead. It's going to be an ugly mess that could cause some power outages. Don't leave me here. Here's the snow. Somebody said, well, what do you do? I just want to know how much snow you get. How about an inch? Maybe 0.3. This doesn't look very... Oh, and then it's all going to wash down the drain. It's going to wash all the... Maybe, if you're lucky, you get the Eastern Shore 3 inches. Again, this is the European model. And then tomorrow's run, this could be cut in half. This could be 0.6 tomorrow. This could be 1.5. Do you see what I'm saying? It's trending north. The European is trending north. The Canadian is trending north. All of it's trending north. But you're going to get all this to wash it down the sewer drain. 1.5 inches of water. And you're not going to have 2-3 inches of snow to stick around after it's all said and done. Hang with me. I'm not done. I got more to talk about and give you some comparisons. And I do want to hear some comments that came in today. By the way, if you haven't heard, we got a $5 Pozzoli. Our friends at Marco's being very kind and generous. These things normally will sell for $7, $8, or $9. But you can get a Pozzoli this week for $5 if you use our promo code WTKR David. Go to marcos.com. I mentioned that we're giving away free pizza. I think everybody likes free. Virginia Beach, 3 locations. Chesapeake, 2 locations. Norfolk, 1. If you sign up, go to WTKR.com/Marcos. We're going to be giving away winners tomorrow. One winner will get 12 individual pizzas for every month for the rest of 2026. That's what this certificate looks like. And it will come in your mailbox, so we just need to know how to contact you. The Pozzoli, by the way, looks like this. It's a great, think of it like a Stromboli, or maybe a Pozzoli, or like a calzone. Calzone is another way to think of it. But you got pepperoni and sausage, chicken bacon ranch, pepperoni, and buffalo chicken if you go to marcos.com. And they also have a great pepperoni magnifico if you've not tried Marcos. But I would encourage you to satisfy your appetite. Go to WTKR.com/Marcos, and we'll get you hopefully a winner tomorrow, as we'll give away 10 individual pizzas tomorrow as well. But the Pozzoli, just $5 this week. Very thankful for Marcos and having them as a sponsor. Okay, so if you're just joining us, this is the big story. I mentioned this was a heavy precipitation maker. Think of this like a pie chart. Maybe that's what we'll do. We'll use the telestrator. Right? So if this is a pie chart, here's my pie, and it's made up of 1.5 inches of water. Now, if it were all rain, that'd be easy. But what if I told you it's just a sliver, part of that pie, just a sliver is snow? And all you're asking is, how much snow am I going to get? I think you're asking the wrong question. The better question to ask is, how much ice am I going to get? Holy cow, look at this. That's a lot of sleet and maybe some freezing rain. And you know what sleet does? It's like walking through Epsom salt. It's like when you get copious amounts of sleet. I'm talking about over ½ inch, almost like an inch. It's not a blizzard, it's a slizzard. It's kind of like where you're walking, oh, what is this? This is awful. If you've ever soaked your foot in Epsom salt, that's what a lot of sleet will look like when it collects. Now, if it's all freezing rain, freezes on contact, it's going to add some stress to some power lines. They will sag, transformers will pop, and people are out without power for not for days, but maybe weeks, depending on how bad this gets. And that's what did I mention it's also going to be slippery and windy? Oh, you throw in the winds. Oh my goodness, now you have heavy amounts of ice and it's windy. That could take out power too. So to say that we're out of the woods because we're not getting the snow, I'm going to tune this guy out. You do it at your own choice, my friend. I'm just trying to tell you, like an umpire at the ballpark, balls and strikes. And if you don't pay attention to in that type of situation, then that is annoying, right? That's Doug's comment. But I can tell you, if you put some numbers to it, let's do it. This is shocking, right? Look how much ice. 2 inches. I see Williamsburg approaching 2.5 to 3. And Gloucester, oh my gosh, I hope you don't get that. 4 inches of sleet and freezing rain. That would be awful. That would be terrible. And even though you're not colored pink, Manio or Kitty Hawk or Currituck or Elizabeth City, you still could get some ice. Little pellets, right? Let's hope, and right now the GFS seems to think it's 50% sleet, 50% freezing rain. It's a mess no matter how you slice it. Checking in with you, I've got a chance to check in the comments. I want to import the new ones because the last nights were very entertaining. I appreciate everybody's candor because, again, nobody likes having their weekend disturbed by weather. Not me, not you, not anybody in the neighborhood. But I got a couple of new notes that might have come in here. Lynn Old, who was a winner of the Pizza for a Year. He's got his pizza pie chart. Thank you, Lynn. Glad to have you here, my friend. I got some other notes too. His Ashley. Let's see here. Ashley Marie. If I have this name right, let me fly in here. Well, how do you know you're even right? Well, you can bet against me. Been doing this for almost 3 decades, 27 years, but that's up to you. I thought the low was set up. Let's just wait and see what happens. See, that's okay. I'm just the umpire, right? You didn't have to agree with my call because you're up in the stands enjoying some peanuts at Harbor Park. I'm right there. I saw it, balls and strikes. I don't think this is going to be a big deal for Virginia Beach or for Norfolk, but I do think it's going to be a bigger deal where you see all this ice. Do you see the color on this map? These are the communities as of right now, and we're still 3.5 days away. We're Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights when this is going to start. We're still 3.5 days out, and this could change. It could increase, it could decrease, it could shift eastward. You get my drift. We're not through it, and it's going to be slippery, and it's going to be windy, and that is going to be a nightmare, all things considered. Precipitation chances, I got it late coming in on Saturday, really after dark. If you have needs on Saturday, and I mean, your needs can be varied. I've had everybody say, I need to get a haircut. Do it before 4 o'clock on Saturday. Because once it gets dark, then we're going to see this thing roll in. But if you have to go get some toiletries, get to the grocery store, get to the pharmacy, you name it. You've got time. You've got time. But the best thing is, just know that this is going to change again tomorrow. The amount of ice is going to change. The amount of snow could go down, which I suspect it will. And the amount of rain will come up. And if it's just rain 2 days from now, somebody say, nothing to see here. That would be, how would you feel? You would have felt like, man, I bit into that whole hype since like Dr. King Day all week long. And you missed the best thing about tomorrow, which is the highs in the 50s. Tomorrow is the warmest day of the week. That's a gift, right? Every day is a gift. And then you're going to look at Sunday like you did last Sunday. It was miserable. Last Sunday we had some snow in Gloucester County, had some snow in Exmoor last Sunday, but it was really a cold rain. This is just going to be a wintry mess. Go ahead and pick which column you like the best. I think we're going to find more of the rain as we move forward in the next couple of days. That's my prediction, but you're going to find less in the way of snow. And my fear is that if we get what the Europeans suggesting now, you're going to get more of this, and it's going to make for a bigger headache. And then some of you will say, I wish it had been snow. It would have been better. Probably true. Would have been better had we had snow. But the forecast challenge, you can't make decisions 6 days. Oh, you didn't mention snow on Monday or Tuesday. No, I didn't. I mentioned what the models were suggesting, but I didn't buy into it. I didn't take the bait. Some people did, and now they're paying the price because they feel disillusioned. Don't feel disillusioned. There's more to come, though. I got to get more to the other maps here. Let me go back to this map here. This is the comparison. Some of you are like, oh, I'm into the models. Most people really don't care about the models. Just tell me, how do I interpret them? One is the European model. One is the GFS, which is an American model. And I can tell you, at midnight Saturday, it would look like it's more snow for the 757 on the GFS because of the coloring, right? This is the kind of the bluish purple in here, right? Once you get into the pink, you know that's the mix, right? That's the changeover from rain and snow, and it's very, very messy to drive through. That's why the state of North Carolina, I believe, has already declared a state of emergency. There's going to be a lot of pink based on the Euro and in the GFS for the mix. And depending on how much rain the Outer Banks gets, it could be a little less severe there and much worse toward Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill. But this is midnight Saturday, so there's a comparison here. And I can tell you the Canadian model looks more like the Euro. They're moving this north. And it really is going to depend on how many hours, and very few, how many hours are actually going to be snow. Now, if you look at the GFS, I'm going to have to pull out what I did before last week. I had to do this the last week. I said, we're going to have to cross this out. This is what people are buying into. This is the nonsense that there's, oh, we're getting a foot, we're getting 13 inches. No. The model may spit that out, but you read that online and you click on it, you do it at your own peril, because I don't think we're getting that at all. In fact, the GFS model is still suggesting quite a bit of rain, so it's a copious weather maker. You got, what, almost 2 inches? But if you get more of the sleet and freezing rain, it's going to be the biggest headache. You say, this was terrible. West of Norfolk, this was awful. What a terrible Sunday it will be, especially if you lose power. How many of you would say, if I lost power, then that's how I'm going to grade this storm? It was awful. It was only awful if you lose power, right? In a neighborhood, the whole neighborhood lose power. Just be prepared. Have all the goodies that you need. Get your house in order in time on Saturday, because Saturday night, once it gets dark, it's game on. And all of this, again, is a lot of water that's going to wash all that snow, quote unquote, down the sewer drain. All right, so we look at today, as I always get back to the forecast at hand. You know, first things first. We had a bitter cold this morning today. A husky, I want to give you props. Let me take off the red there. I didn't mean to change you to red. So I'm going to clear that off my telestrator. But I'll go back to the yellow. Yellow seems a little more easier on the eyes. A husky fell to 10. Now, I don't know about you, but 10 degrees seems pretty cold. I feel like I'm in the Arctic. It was 11 in Emporia this morning, and while Norfolk fell to 22 degrees at 6:10 a.m., it was frozen face all across the board. Everybody was cold, and there are certain degrees of cold, as you can see here. Now, we did finish at 48. Yesterday, we were 37, so we were 11 degrees warmer today than yesterday. And I can assure you that tomorrow we're going to be closer to 57, so we're going to jump another 9 degrees tomorrow. And if you are so fixated on looking at your phone or looking at these models and stay inside, you're going to miss the best day of the week. Don't do that. Get out inside, enjoy it. Get out and take the dog for a walk, take the kids for a run, whatever it takes. Throw the Frisbee around. You can have opportunities on a mild day, 57 when the normal high is 50 this time of year. We'll take a bonus. Some of you will be in the 60s tomorrow. In places like Ahoskie and even Eatonton will be in the 60s come Thursday, which is tomorrow. But by the way, we hit 48 today, officially at 3:12 this afternoon. Now, we've got clouds on the increase right now, as it's now 7:58. I'm going to leave time for some questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. But I can tell you what, a lot of clouds are overhead right now. If we get a spot of rain overnight, don't be surprised. Much of what you see in Charleston, West Virginia will break up. It'll fall apart. There'll be very limited amounts of moisture as it moves toward the 757. It's just moving into somewhat drier air. We won't see a whole lot of that holding together in the coming hours. But the 24-hour temperature change would suggest that we are toasty compared to this time last night. It's now approaching 8 o'clock, and we're already 17 degrees warmer now in Newport News as compared to where you were last night. Checking in with you, want to say hi to you. Let me come back on this camera. Let's see if I can change some of the comments here. Let's see. I got a hey Taj. Kim Thompson-Jones is here. She's usually wanting to say hi. Great to see her. And let's see here. Taj Brown. Let's see. Oh, Stacy. Stacy brings up a good point. Stacy says, come back on camera, she says, so dramatic. I think calling 17, 18 inches of snow, Stacy, is dramatic. I think that's off the chart. I mean, I would say it's irresponsible for people to put that out there and to say that's what we're getting on Dr. King Day for the following 25th of January. That, to me, is irresponsible. You can call it dramatic. I think it's a bit over the top, And I don't think that's where people should be focused on, wasting the entire week about something that didn't come to pass. If you're only on Team Snow and that's what you're hoping to hear that message, I just can't give that to you. I can give you a mix because that's what I think we're going to ultimately get over time. Right now it's 36 degrees in Franklin, 42 in Currituck, 42 in Hampton, and right now with wind chills in the 30s, I do suspect will rise after midnight. The clouds that we're gathering right now will in fact rise. They'll continue to rise overnight tonight. So the early lows might dip into the mid to upper 30s briefly, but by the time you get out the door tomorrow, don't be surprised if you're at Virginia Beach, you start the day in the 40s. I know I've got 37 for a low, but I don't think you'll be anywhere near 37 in Virginia Beach or Norfolk come tomorrow morning because it will be warming up. So here's my planner for your Thursday. Now you take this information however you wish, but it's a beautiful day with a few early clouds at 43 at 7, 52 at noon, and 57 at 4. Winds tomorrow will be generally picking up about 5 to 15, but will turn, I think, with more clouds coming in at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. So that's where I think we'll be on your Thursday. It's a 57-degree high. That would be 9 degrees warmer than we were today. Amy Thompson's on here. She says hi. I want to say hi to Amy. Let's see here. Amy is still holding on to the snowman I'm in. Do you want to build a... I don't personally this go around, no. I don't think we're going to see any snowmen. Icemen, maybe. Icemen and power outages, maybe. But let's see how far north this thing goes, because I still think there's a lot of room. We're just a day, what is today? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then the main event's really Sunday. So you're still 3.5 days into 4 days away, and we looked at that timeline for snow forecasting. You got a lot of time for this thing to change. So the impacts, I think, are still the same. It's a heavy precipitation maker. If you think it's all snow, you want to deceive yourself as that, fine, be my guest. But you will find that it will mix pretty rapidly, and you're not going to have much to show for it, not even on social media. That's just my take. Some people say, I just want to know what you think, and I'm telling you what I think this far out. Now, if I have to adjust tomorrow with less ice, I'll be happy to share that message. But right now, I think it's an icing event. Not as cold tonight. Temperatures rise. Some spotty rain late. And the warmest day of the week will be climbing into the 50s tomorrow. I know that some of you are excited about that, given the fact it's been chilly. But let's not all be, dire and grim. Some people just don't want to deal with this type of weather in wintertime. It's a throwback to what you might have experienced here February 19th last year when you had 10 to 11, 12 inches of snow in the Virginia Beach, Norfolk area. Now, it does turn messy this weekend. I think we've covered this pretty exhaustively here. Rain, snow, and ice. It's a combination. It's not just one. And some will say I got more of one versus the other, but it will be changeable, and I will call it messy for the very reasons this winter storm will. And it could very well impact power as we head down the road. So just make sure you're aware of that. Now, temperature trend goes back down. By Saturday, we're lucky to crack 30. We'll spend most of the day in the 20s. Now, that would bode well for maybe an early start to some wet snow. But with temperatures rising on Sunday, up into the low 40s, a lot of that changeover aloft will occur rather rapidly. So it's not all cut and dry. Not every neighborhood should expect the ice, as it looked like it's trending mainly west of Norfolk. Speaking of Norfolk, just to see from a show of hands, what is Norfolk's record coldest high temperature in January? Is it A, 10 degrees, B, 12 degrees, or C, 13 degrees? A, B, or C, what is Norfolk's record coldest high? Another way to say that would be, what is the coldest maximum temperature in January? Any guesses? Let me know if you're watching live. Would love to say hi to you. Taj Brown is here to follow up. I think he's on to something. Taj has a lot of wisdom. Still time to change, absolutely. But whether it's changing towards snow, I don't think so. Do you ask my opinion? I'll tell you. I see Amy. She's already guessing 13. 13 degrees. Amy, I don't know if you were watching the noon show today with Derek Getter. Forecaster Derek Getter has had 13. It happened twice. I think that's interesting. 1985 and 1994, we had two occasions where January had a high of only 13. That's pretty cold. That's the coldest record high, well, the coldest high or maximum during the day, where Husky got down to 10 this morning, but they did recover back into the 50s this afternoon. That's a big journey for a Husky today. By the way, the polar vortex, I'd like to show you these maps around the North Pole rather. The winds rotate counterclockwise, and when they do have some displacement, it's usually prompted by a sudden stratospheric warming event, pushes the colder air down into the northern part of the United States, into Canada. And if you were to look at today's maps, it seems like the signature for the super cold air is in fact weakening. Because today, this is the 21st, and you can see the date here. This is not a forecast. This is an analysis at roughly 10 to 11 miles up. And when warm air rises, cold air sinks. So the fact that we have seen quite a few times and occasions where this usually will manifest 30 days later. So if I were to look at this on a closer view, it would appear that some of this cold air may be losing some of its strength or its signal. It'll still be cold about 30 days from now, which would be the 21st of February, but it doesn't look anything like it did back in, what was this? This was December 1st. I mean, this looked like this was just waiting for the shoe to drop. And just before the end of 2025, we saw our temperatures plummet in a big way. Had a big cold, like around Christmas, right through New Year's, everybody felt like my heating bill has just gone up. And that was a direct result, I believe, of this sudden stratospheric warming event that happened around the 1st of December. So clearly you can see there's a difference in color from here to here. It's showing signs that maybe winter is going to let up, perhaps by the time we get closer to the 21st of January. We'll see. We'll see, but again, it's still time. It's still early to tell. As cold air is dry, it does not necessarily mean a snowstorm. You can get a lot of cold air, and like we have next week, it's cold Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but there's no precipitation. That is what I expect going forward in time. Let's go ahead and show you the other maps. I'm going to continue to look at you and your comments, but if you look at the upper air pattern, you'll see that this continues to ebb and flow like so. See if I can get this map to move and see if this will move here. I think there it goes. So you can see the coldest air holds up across the Great Lakes. This is about the 29th of January. So you get another surge of cold air, but it will bounce back as it begins to retreat back toward Nova Scotia and into parts of Quebec. So the coldest air by the 31st of January looks like it's still bottled up to the north. And it's really just tracking these individual pockets of cold air diving down into the 757 on occasion. But as we watch this, we'll continue to see how things evolve heading into the month of February. By the way, today's high hit 48 degrees today. Record high from 1935 is 74. If you look at the highs so far this month, it's 10 versus 11. We've had 10 above normal and 11 below normal. Yesterday was the coldest day of the year. I don't know if people put that together, but we had a cold day on the 3rd of January at 39. But we've had 2 record highs this month. People forget that. A Friday and a Saturday a couple weeks ago. But we've had it all this month. And so far, I think I'll be very warm tomorrow as we make a run toward 57. So that would put us kind of like what we were midweek last week, where we had a couple of days there in the upper 50s. All right, taking a look as we move down the road here. Let's see if I can get my map to move. There we go. If you haven't downloaded the free News 3 First Warning Weather App, I hope you'll do so. The NOAA Weather Radio is a great adjunct to what could be a great way to keep information flowing, because sometimes our phones will lose charge. If it's on a charger, it's on a base, and you lose power, then it maybe doesn't charge. So at least if you have multiple sources for information, you'll stay in the know. And if there is, a freezing rain advisory or a ice advisory, an ice warning, wouldn't you like to know and be in the know when it happens? That's what's one of the benefits of downloading the free app. Average airport delays are not showing any signs here. I do like to take a look on occasion to see what's happening in terms of the weather that's going on here. Let's see if I can get this to move. This is one of the things that you can see, that most of the rain that we have now extending from Louisiana up toward Kentucky and West Virginia. I'll zoom in a little bit tighter here. So if you've got family in the New Orleans area, they're going to continue to see rain tonight. It stretches across much of Mississippi and Alabama. Into East Tennessee right now, where they're getting some rain around Knoxville, Oak Ridge, back toward Bristol and Chattanooga. Further north, it looks like it's trying to change over. They've had some great skiing, I understand, some snowboarding in snowshoe, a lot of snow in snowshoe this winter. Charleston's getting rain, but in the Elkins area, Morgantown, a little bit of a changeover underway at this time, and it's snowing across some parts of New Jersey and back toward Pennsylvania as well. So that's where things are at the moment. Now, if we play this through, I like to show this to you so that you get a handle of what's going to happen the next 10 days. We are first warning, so if we focus on the 21st, which is today, through the 31st, which would take us to the end of the month, tell me where and when and how and quickly will we see other opportunities, because it doesn't take very long. You get a big storm system like this one, like you see here, that's what's going to be developing, before the next one passes, and then there'll be more hype Oh, I heard we're getting a week from next Tuesday, we're going to get something even bigger. And people will fall for it, and then they'll be all excited, and they'll get preoccupied with that. Just know that these things change. And until you're within about 2 or 3 days, even this could move a little bit. Most of what you see there looks like it's blanketing the Tar Heel State with an icy mix. And if you can see, it continues to move northward toward Hampton Roads. It moves up toward Delaware, Maryland, and into parts of West Virginia and Virginia with more of that icy mix before this thing finally exits Monday morning. And then you can see a lot of this is going around in do-si-do around parts of Quebec and beyond. By the way, temperatures right now, it's 8:10, 42 in Norfolk, 39 in Chesapeake, 40 in Suffolk. Those are our current readings. It's 38 in Smithfield, 43 in Hertford, and 45 in Edenton, while it's 42 degrees in Currituck, Moyock, Nags Head, and Manio. If you're looking for warmer air, we're going to get a little bit of that tomorrow. It's not as cold tonight as it was, obviously, this morning when we had 10s and 14s. It was 14 in Chesapeake this morning, but the dew points are pretty low. They're still in the teens for the dryness. It's chapstick weather and maybe some lotion on the knuckles just to get through because it's dry skin season for sure if you haven't been outside, or maybe you have. Temperatures right now are 15 in Minneapolis, 31 Detroit, and 27 in Chicago while they're looking at that. I mean, that's some really cold. At negative 26, are you for sure? I wouldn't want to be there. That's in Lake Lynn Airport in Canada, and 22 below in Fort Sumter. That's not the wind chill. That's the actual temperature all across parts of Canada. And some of that can ooze down over the coming days. Doesn't mean it's a snowstorm, but it does suggest that we're going to continue to need to heat the home, throw an extra log on the fire, throw an extra blanket on the bed, and maybe just hunker down until these storms pass by and the cold air passes by. But it looks like it does want to settle in again around the 31st of January. In fact, this Climate Prediction Center has put the ground zero for the cold right over North Carolina and Virginia. Hard to dismiss that, but that will take you through the end of January. And if you're waiting for the big warm-up, you might have to wait until another month for that to flip, because right now the above normal temperatures are out west. Eastern Shore forecast tomorrow, 52 in Chincoteague and Bloxham, 51 Saxis and Onancock. Look for a high in Exmoor at 52. Cape Charles at 50 degrees. We head to the Outer Banks, 55 tomorrow. Beautiful day in Duck. Mid-50s for Kill Devil Hills, Nags Head, Manio, Wanchese, Roanoke Island at 56, Rodanthe at 57, Hatteras and Ocracoke generally in the mid to upper 50s tomorrow. Climate Prediction Center. I want to cover these maps and then we'll get more to your questions. Marginal, slight, and enhanced would be what's pretty active during severe weather season, but we are in the opposite of severe weather season. We're in the middle of winter, and so we're not seeing any concerns for severe weather across the lower 48 tonight, tomorrow, Thursday, or even Friday. Clearly you can have snow, but doesn't mean you're going to have severe weather and severe storms. They're just non-existent at this particular time. Give it time. Futurecast looks like this, taking us through 9 o'clock tonight. I got another note here. Amy, I know she's engaging me in the conversation. She says thick body creams are better. I don't know, cocoa butter? Maybe that's the thing. I'm learning something new. Thank you, Amy, for letting me know. And I got JL Bree. She's one of our WTKR photographers. She says, so will it all be gone by the time we wake up Sunday? No. That's when it really is ramping up. Now, when you say it meaning all the precipitation, not until Monday morning. This is going to be a washout on Sunday, whether it's rain for some neighborhoods, like the Outer Banks, whether it's rain, snow, sleet, or just sleet. It's all going to mush to the north. That's my expectation. But it won't be done, JL, until Monday. And then the cleanup may begin for those that had quite a bit of icing, might have some power outages. It could become a real headache over time. 11 o'clock tonight, we've got more clouds. I mentioned there could be a spot shower in the overnight period. Looks like maybe toward Franklin. I believe Ahoskie might get a shower here. Yeah, that's what it seems like. Ahoskie, maybe even the city of Suffolk could get maybe in on a quick little shower. That's 6 o'clock in the morning. So if you got a drop of rain tomorrow morning, or maybe you didn't hear that message because it got drowned out by all the weekend talk, clouds will be the first thing you see if you're up early. And I say 7 a.m. early for Virginia Beach. For Norfolk, we got clouds. But then the afternoon, it's just glorious. We got a wind around 10 miles an hour. It's sunny, and we're probably around 52 by midday tomorrow. That's why I say tomorrow's going to be a great day. Afternoon will still be great, 57. Some will approach 60 or higher. and we'll show you those numbers momentarily. But Friday looks like it's sunny to start, maybe more clouds to finish, and maybe a few spotty showers Friday afternoon for Dare County, back toward Manio and Wanchese, perhaps in a few spots. 10 o'clock Friday night, not much to see here. And then you go, wait a minute, I heard Saturday's going to be bad. According to who? Saturday's probably fine. It's not until after dark. I mean, I look at it as different day parts. There's Saturday, right? And then there's Saturday night, right? That's when things I think are going to get more challenging to be on the roads. But 6 a.m. on Saturday, the model still kind of puts some snow over the ocean. I don't think the ocean is going to mind. But when you add this all up and add this in a little bit closer up, you can see that there's some opportunities to maybe get a flurry at 1 o'clock near Duck or Currituck. And again, that could be just some model noise. I'm looking at this, maybe a flurry or two down across the Outer Banks. But the main event will come in from the west, and it's going to do it after dark. So if you just joined us, this is what we're expecting. Not just snow. Get that out of your vocabulary. It's rain, snow, ice. It's a combination that could be even a bigger headache as we hopefully get out of this unscathed with very little power loss, because this is just going to continue to ice up. We may get some snow there at 7, 8 o'clock Saturday. Looks really good for Norfolk and Virginia Beach to get some snow. But look how quickly it starts to change over. By 11, it's already changing over by midnight, and now the snow element is pretty much washed away because the rain is picked up. Did you have time to sled at 3 in the morning Sunday? No. This is not a snow you get to enjoy if you're a kid. You can get to play in it because it's still precipitating hard, and now it's a cold rain through 6 a.m. Sunday. So JL, if this answers your question, we're far from over. When you said it, I'm assuming you're talking about the snow because the ice is still coming down in pink across much of Virginia and North Carolina. By the time we hit 10:30, 11, Sunday, still raining hard along the coast, but the mixing is just unrelenting across much of the Tar Heel State and then through the Commonwealth. And you can see 8 o'clock Sunday, it's still icy in pink. 11 o'clock, 1:30, finally get it out of here about 7 a.m. on Monday, the way things are trending at this time. Tomorrow morning, I'm expecting early midnight lows rather in the 30s, because tomorrow morning we should be bouncing back up into the 40s and around 52 at noon. But the lowest point you may see, or if you're at this point, you may see these numbers climb from these values. About 37 for Moyock, 38 for Smithfield, and 38 for Gatesville. Tomorrow afternoon, expect low 50s for the peninsulas, about 57 Southside, 58 North Carolina, and there are the 60s. Yeah, that's within reach tomorrow. Kind of unheard of given all the talk we've had about the weekend, but like I said, if you skip over a day or two, you miss out on several gifts. That's a gift. 62 in Edenton, 61 in Suffolk, and 60 in the harbor of hospitality known as Elizabeth City. I hope you'll enjoy it. We'll be pretty close to that. Portsmouth at 59. I got Norfolk at 57 degrees tomorrow, and about 57 for Matthews, 55 for Corolla. Here's your first warning, WTKR News 3 7-day forecast. So it's 57 tomorrow, 49 on Friday. I think we're really going to struggle to see temperatures move at all, but I do have it as late. So I just don't have it in good conscience to put a lot of precipitation on a Saturday until it gets dark. After dark, then you better be into your safe space, wherever that is, home, neighbor's house, wherever you're most comfortable to ride it out, because you might have a little bit of icy mix to contend with, especially west of Norfolk based on the data today. Clearing skies though on Monday, and there it is, 16 degrees. That's the cold air. Cold air is typically dry, so this will become mostly sunny, and I believe these 2 days are mostly sunny. It's just rather cold. 44, though, come Wednesday of next week. If you're one of the WTKR photographers, I got a couple to share with you. The crescent moon at James River Bridge from Jack Carpenter. Love it. Was able to see looks like a hangnail moon. That's what my mom calls it. But yeah, over here at the bottom, about 8% of the moon visible last night and tonight. You can see Buck Road this morning from William Wood, capturing the beauty that is here in Hampton Roads. And last but not least, our friend Bradley Fullwood captured this beautiful sunrise picture of Hampton today and wanted to share it with us, and I wanted to share it with you. Reminder that we have a lot of clouds in place now. Maybe a spot of rain in the overnight tonight. Don't be surprised if there's a few drops on your windshield if your car is outside. But the 7-day forecast is on your screen tomorrow. Partly cloudy, 57. And we will continue on this path tomorrow with more updates to come. By the way, if you haven't discovered the $5 Pozzoli week from our deal of the week from Marco's, here's a chance to use it using the promo code WTKR David. Some of us get hungry. Maybe you're hungry for a pepperoni and sausage. I always encourage you to pair it with one of the sauces, the garlic, the ranch, or maybe even the marinara pizza cup sauce. It's really good, and it is very, very filling. It's a great lunch item as well. There are 6 locations that are participating in the $5 Pozzoli deal of the week, and these are the same 6 locations locally that are participating in the free pizza, because we're going to be giving away the winners tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday, so make sure you sign up. It just takes about a minute of your time so we can send you the certificate. It is mailed to you via the U.S. Post Office. So to view Pizza for a Year, we're going to go to WTKR.com/Marcos. If you win pizza and your name is randomly selected, you would get one pizza every month, one topping, one large pizza for free, and it's a real sweet deal. Saves your family a whole lot of money, and hopefully you'll get a chance to share it with your neighbors, because they probably, if they haven't had Marco's, probably are curious to try it. New Pozzolis, of course, the Pepperoni Magnifico, and to satisfy your appetite, go to WTKR.com/Marcos. Okay, I want to leave a little bit more time for some comments. Let's see here. Mark, I got a good question about roads, and this might be a Connor question. He's our traffic guy. Are they starting to salt the roads? I believe they are. During the 4 o'clock, 4:30, 5, 5:30, 6 o'clock news, and the 7, I believe I've heard multiple times that they're beginning to use brine. They're covering the roads and getting ahead of the event. And anytime you get a governmental action in North Carolina, such as the declaration, state of emergency, they're all hands on deck. All the crews, everybody's going to be on standby waiting for that to unfold. And there's some good reasons to be concerned. Icing is not something you want to drive through. It's not even something you want to mess with. And it is a lot worse scenario. I would rather have snow, because snow melts, right? If you get too much freezing rain that collects on power lines, it can cause the power lines to sag, and it can cause transformers to pop. I've been through a handful of ice storms when I was in Rochester, New York. Been through ice storms in Knoxville. It's just, you just have to be extra careful anytime ice is in the forecast. Well, just a reminder, it doesn't matter if the weather is sunny, which it's going to be mostly tomorrow, or whether it's serious, which we'll have opportunities to look at this weekend again tomorrow. Just remember, every day is a gift. Make the most of tomorrow. Make the most of every day. In your neighborhood, we'll see you here tomorrow with some pizza winners. Take care.